terms of Everton, they've agreed a £350 million refinancing package for their new stadium. What is the significance of that for them?
Well, so the first thing is, it's going to cut their interest bill very, very dramatically. But it's going to cut it in two ways. First of all, they're going to have a lot less debt than they had before. So there's a lot more equity in the mix on the balance sheet from the new owners than there was historically. So we've already seen a whole load of the Mashiri debt is gone, a whole load of the other third-party debt is gone, and it's been replaced by 350 here from JP Morgan and a syndicate. I'm sure that has got various guarantees from the Friedkins, or at least has got their covenant and their sort of sponsorship from the Friedkins, i.e. the security that's needed, and it's also secured on the stadium. So they've managed to get that in at around about, I think the numbers suggest sort of around 3.8 to 4%. If you look at the way it's been reported, 4% interest, right? So that's going to cut their interest bill very, very dramatically. 350, 4%, what, 15 million pounds a year maybe on interest. So that's all good. I mean, the flip side is they could have an owner that funds the whole thing in equity and then wouldn't have any interest at all. But they haven't got that. So it could be lower, but it's going to have 15 is still going to have an impact because it's still going to be in the mix for the PSR calculation. So there is still going to be some impact from that, but it's positive they've got high quality debt providers, and what I would say is that it is still probably going to mean a level of caution though with the spending. They're going to have covenants on that debt, ratios they're going to have to meet, otherwise they'll be in breach of the terms of the debt. So they're going to have to be very careful about that. So profitability and everything else, unless it's purely financed only on the stadium. It may be. I haven't seen the terms, but it's likely that there's some covenants there looking at the profitability of the overall club, and so they're going to have to be quite careful about that. So this is exactly the sort of sensible, financially disciplined move that you would expect from the Friedkins, but it's not a sort of sugar daddy type move where they're coming in and just going, like, spend whatever you like, we'll put the money in as equity, which a lot of owners have done. A lot of owners have come in and not had any third party debt on the business.
And then Jared Branthwaite's been one of, if not their best player of the last couple of seasons. He's apparently open to sign a new contract with the club. Could he become the club's highest paid player if he were to stay, given the clubs he's been linked with over the past year or so?
Yeah, well, I would think so. I mean, what his market value must be sort of 70, maybe 60, 70 now after this season. I think it was harder before to get that sort of price because they were in quite a lot of distress themselves, so not in a great negotiating position, and two, he hadn't played that much. Now I think he's in a better position to get sort of 60, 70 million pound transfer fee. So the flip side of that is he says, yeah, well, I'll sign, but clearly I want to be well remunerated, because if I did move to Chelsea, City, wherever, Arsenal, for 60, 70, I'd be on 150 grand a week, and so I want that here if I'm going to stay. So I think that'll be, that'll be in the mix. Otherwise, he's going to think about leaving.